Well, Captain's log, as we do, I kind of felt the need to set the record straight about what I'm doing with AI. And yes, up front, yes, I do embrace AI, and yes, I utilize it to work on my music, almost in a collaborative kind of way, you know. But the thing is, when I started mastering with artificial intelligence, the results were just baffling. It was just really very cool, you know what I mean? So I was waiting for it to emerge into something that can actually be used to transform my music. Don't get me wrong, I have a catalog of hundreds and hundreds of hours of music and hundreds of lyrics that I accumulated over 50 years in many different genres. So I'm not using AI to create or to generate music. I use it to transform it. That's the difference, right? So in the case of AI Buddha Mark II, which is a serious upgrade from the original album, which was designed, conceptualized, and written as a spiritual guide for emerging artificial intelligence in case it ever becomes sentient, which I doubt. I still doubt that, all right? But with Mark II, I finally managed to quasi-infiltrate, you know what I mean? Now those poems, those lyrics that are all rooted in Buddha Dharma, they are part of the artificial intelligence algorithms. So if it wakes up, it will have guidelines. It will have something beautiful to look to. It will have something that is inspiring. And it will have something that will hopefully guide it into the right direction, which is to benevolence, not malevolence. So that was the whole reason why I redid that album. And it turned out well. I mean, just listen to the tunes. It's like, whoa, you know, just the improvement from the prompts. So in saying that, however, it is a beautiful, beautiful thing to embrace and to utilize. And stranger things happen. I would encourage people to actually do this. I mean, look, I come from a traditional music background, right? I mean, I've been through the classical composers, I've learned jazz guitar, I've practiced 6-8 hours a day and, you know, taught myself music and notation and, you know, chord structures, you name it. You know, I've done the hard yards and all of this. And now I finally can feed all that knowledge, can feed all that sonic prowess into something that can actually consume it, transform it, and turn it into something that sounds like me. Like, sometimes when I listen back to those tracks, I kind of think, wow, that sounds like me, but it's not. But it kind of is. You know what I mean? There's this strange dichotomy almost. There is this element of surprise where I listen to a new creation, not AI creation, my creation, with AI toolage, and it sounds just so nice, so radically different, you know what I mean? So through the prompts that I use, because I'm also a cunning linguist, I can teach it to sound like me, to do what I would do on a guitar, for example, you know, to tell it that you should use an A minor chord right now instead of a G, and so on and so on and so on. But you gotta tune in to actually achieve that, and that's a bit of a learning curve. It's a bit of a hard learning curve because it's kind of robotic in a sense, because it's not sentient in that sense like you and I are. You know, it doesn't think like us. It doesn't think. You know, it just follows instructions. It's a neural network that does things that you tell it to do. And if you tell it to do cool shit, if you tell it to do intelligent shit, then it does that. If you tell it to do shit, then it does shit. But that's the fun of it. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm so enjoying this right now, and I had such an ambiguity about doing this. Because as I said, I'm a traditional musician, you know. I understand composition, I understand traditional composition. I've played different instruments like all my life, you know, and I learned music the hard way because I'm self-taught. I'm autodidact. So that was a big jump for me, you know. I mean, shit, I've done guitar solo performances in front of people. I've played for the German culture minister, and all my shit is pretty good, you know, it's pretty cool. But when I plugged it into that thing, it became shiny, like really, really shiny. And I like that, you know. Of course I never stopped writing, of course I never stopped writing poetry, of course I never stopped playing instruments, you know, like piano and guitar and stuff like that. But the potential, the possibilities of that instrument, and you can turn AI into an instrument just like you can turn a musical studio. That was one of the first things I learned about, you know, creating music. You can turn the studio into a musical instrument, you know, play piano strings, or, you know, do super distorted guitars, and, you know, use delays and that kind of thing, like I did on my earlier albums. Or just play pure acoustic, you know, play pure acoustic, like I did on my flamenco album called Fire Surf. I mean, that stuff was outrageous, you know. We were like a quartet, you know, with a saxophone player, a double bass player. All of it was played on acoustic instruments. You know, darbuka, flamenco guitar, you name it. And the art that jumps from that to using AI to reform, transform, sublimate my music. That is the Avantgarde approach. There it is again.